No nurse lasted a week with billionaire Sheik Samir Al-Hadi, until an American nurse did what no one else dared to do. Before we begin, tell us in the comments, which city are you watching from? And at the end, don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story. 3 nurses ran through the gates of Al-Hadi Palace as if escaping a fire. One held a shoe, another was crying into her phone, and the third whispered, "God help the next one." Emily Carter walked past them with a backpack and a calm smile. "Dramatic people," she muttered. At the marble entrance stood Fatima, the palace coordinator, looking like she'd given up on hope. "You're the American? Emily Carter?" Fatima asked, eyeing her like a soldier before battle. "Ready for duty." Emily offered a cheerful handshake. Fatima didn't take it. "Did you read the contract? The small print about psychological trauma?" "I thought it was creative," Emily joked. Fatima sighed. "Listen, Sheik Samir is impossible. 15 nurses in 6 months. Wow." Emily blinked. "That's almost an Olympic record." As they walked through endless hallways of crystal and marble, Fatima warned her, "He isn't mean, just impossible." "I've worked the ER in New York on New Year's Eve," Emily countered. "Trust me, I've seen everything." They stopped at a carved wooden door. A deep, irritated voice barked from inside. "Silence! Come in." Fatima practically ran away, leaving Emily to face the lion's den. The suite was breathtaking, but in the center stood the real challenge, Sheik Samir Al-Hadi. Tall, broad-shouldered, with eyes that could pierce armor, holding a silver cane like a sword. "You're the new one," he said with pure disdain. "You won't last. Leave now and save us both time." Emily crossed her arms. "Was that rehearsed or spontaneous?" "Because it's the warmest welcome I've ever had." Samir narrowed his eyes. "I don't need another nurse treating me like an experiment. I'm dismissing you." "How convenient," Emily smiled. "But I signed a contract, and unlike the others, I actually need this job. So, Your Highness, you're stuck with me." His jaw tightened. No one spoke to him like that. "You don't understand. I'm ordering you to leave. And I'm politely declining. You can't fire me before I even check your pulse." Samir stepped toward her, leaning on his cane. Emily noticed the tremor in his hand, the tension in his jaw. He wasn't just arrogant, he was in deep pain. Her tone softened. "Look, I get it. Having strangers poke and prod you is awful. But I'm not your enemy. Give me 1 week. If I annoy you or give you a positivity lecture, I'm out. Deal?" Samir studied her face, searching for a weakness he couldn't find. 1 week, he finally whispered. "Deal," Emily said, shaking his hand. "And just so you know, I've seen men far scarier than you whining about a fever. You don't intimidate me." For the first time in months, something close to a smile almost touched Samir's lips. Almost. The test began at 6 a.m. Samir rang his silver bell like he was summoning an army. Emily appeared with messy hair and a coffee in hand. "Good morning, Your Highness. Planning my torture already." Samir ignored her. "I want tea. Traditional mint tea. 185 degrees Fahrenheit. Exact. Want me to sing a song while I make it?" "Don't be ridiculous." 20 minutes later, Emily returned with a steaming silver tray. Samir looked at the teapot with a critical eye. "Is that the correct teapot?" "It's a teapot," Emily replied. "I didn't ask if it's a teapot. I asked if it's the correct one." Emily didn't just survive the first 17 hours, she turned the palace upside down. When Samir complained the tea was cold, she didn't flinch. When he demanded she reorganize a perfect medication schedule just to flex his power, she looked him in the eye and said the one word no one dared to say, "No." The maids froze. They expected her to be fired in 3 seconds. But Samir just stared, baffled. "You're the most irritating nurse I've ever met," he barked. "Thank you," Emily smiled. I'll put that on my resume. But Emily saw through the arrogance. She saw the tremor in his hand and the sweat on his brow. She forced a stethoscope to his chest and a thermometer in his mouth before he could protest. Mild fever. You're staying in bed, she ordered. You're unbearable, Samir muttered. But as she left, a tiny invisible smile finally touched his lips. Even Fatima, the coordinator, began to wonder if she could finally tear up those resignation papers. Then came 3 a.m. A scream shattered the silence of the palace. Emily ran barefoot across the cold marble, her heart pounding. She found Samir collapsed at the edge of his bed, gasping for air, his knuckles white as he gripped the sheets. It wasn't a heart attack. It was fear. Pure, raw terror. I can't breathe, he choked out. Emily knelt beside him, taking his hand and placing it on her own chest. Breathe with me. Slowly. It's not working, he panicked. Listen to me. You're Sheik Samir Al-Hadi. You rule a kingdom. You are not going to be defeated by a panic attack. Now breathe like a normal person, please. The shock of her bluntness worked. His lungs began to settle. As the adrenaline faded, the truth came out in the dark of the night. Does this happen often? Emily asked softly, sitting on the edge of the royal bed. Samir hesitated, then whispered the words that changed everything. When I wake up from the nightmares, about her. Her who? My fiancée, Samir choked out. She passed away 3 years ago. The weight of his grief filled the room like smoke. The impossible billionaire wasn't fighting his nurses, he was fighting a ghost. The moon hung over a sleeping Riade, but inside the palace, the silence was broken by a confession. Everyone wants me to move on. To get married again, Samir whispered, his eyes red from the panic attack. But I feel like if I do, I'm betraying her memory. Emily didn't give him a royal bow. She gave him the truth. Your Highness, you're confusing loyalty with a prison. Staying trapped in pain isn't love, it's punishment. And I bet she wouldn't want that for you. For the first time, the billionaire didn't argue. He let Emily cover his shoulders with a blanket. I'll stay until you fall asleep, she promised. By the way, do you snore? Like a bear or a truck engine? Because if you do, I'm throwing a pillow. Samir actually laughed. A real, tired, genuine laugh. You're strange, Emily. Thank you. I'll add that to my resume. Morning came with silk curtains and a stiff neck for Emily, who had fallen asleep in the armchair. Good morning, sleeping beauty, Samir teased. He looked better. He even ordered her to eat breakfast with him, pancakes included. But normal is a luxury that doesn't last. While Emily was organizing his bookshelf, a book fell and something rolled under the bed. A small, faded bottle. Then another. And another. 7 bottles of high-dose anti-anxiety meds, all expired 2 years ago, hidden behind books of Arabic poetry like dirty secrets. What are you doing? Samir barked from the door, panic flashing in his eyes. I'm your nurse, Samir. Everything about your health is my business. Why are you hiding these? I stopped taking them months ago, he confessed, his fists clenched. But I can't throw them away. They were the only thing that worked when I felt like I was losing my mind. Emily sat beside him, the distance between the billionaire and the nurse disappearing. Samir, keeping these is like keeping a door open that you're afraid to close. You're afraid if you start again, you'll never stop. I'm the Sheik, he said, his voice trembling. I have to be strong. I can't have emotional wounds. Surprise, Emily countered softly. You're human, and humans feel pain. She placed the bottles in his hand. Here's my proposal, we throw these away. Together. Now. And if you panic, I'll hold your hand, and we'll breathe like normal people. Deal. Samir looked at the bottles, then at the woman who had broken every royal rule just to save him. What if I can't? Then we'll try again tomorrow. And the day after that. Samir stood over the trash can, trembling. In his hands, the 7 bottles of expired pills felt like they weighed a ton. "I hate feeling weak," he whispered. "You're not weak, Samir. You're just tired of carrying this alone," Emily said softly. With a sudden, sharp movement, he dropped them. The sound of plastic hitting the bin echoed like a gunshot. He had done it. He had let go. For the first time, Emily saw something new in his dark eyes: hope. But as they shared a quiet laugh, the air changed. It wasn't just professional respect anymore. It was deeper, dangerous. Samir stepped back as if he'd touched fire. "I need to rest," he stammered. Emily fled the room, her own heart racing, wondering what was happening to her. At 2 a.m., the silence of the palace was broken again. It wasn't a scream this time. It was a low, muffled sob. Emily found Samir on the floor, his head in his hands. "Talk to me," she pleaded, kneeling beside him. "It was an accident," he finally choked out. "A stupid, preventable accident. It was raining. A car ran the light. I swerved. She was in the passenger seat." His voice broke as he confessed his greatest torment. "The last thing I said to her before the crash was an argument. I was angry. I told her, 'We'll talk later.' And now, later will never come." Emily sat on the cold marble, her shoulder against his. "It wasn't your fault, Samir. You tried to protect her. I survived. I deserve to be punished." "Surviving isn't a crime," Emily countered, her own eyes filling with tears. She shared her own secret, how she missed her father's last moments because of a phone call she postponed. "We aren't fortune tellers, Samir. We're just human." They sat there, fingers intertwined, 2 broken souls holding onto each other so the world wouldn't fall apart. "The Royal Council wants me to marry again," Samir whispered. "They say it's my duty. But I don't want to be fixed. I just..." He looked into her eyes. "I'm not sure I want to be alone anymore." The tension was electric. Emily pulled her hand away, trying to be the professional nurse again. "Let's get you to bed before you catch pneumonia." As she reached the door to leave, his voice stopped her, weak and pleading. "Emily, stay. Just until I fall asleep." Emily should have said no. She should have kept it professional and walked out of Samir's room that night. But seeing him so vulnerable, so human, she couldn't. "Only until you fall asleep," she whispered, settling into the armchair. As Samir's breathing turned deep and calm, Emily felt a dangerous tightening in her chest. She was falling for him, and in a royal palace, that was the most dangerous mistake a nurse could make. The next morning, the American Revolution began. At 6 a.m., Emily literally dragged the billionaire out of bed. "Are you insane?" Samir barked, clutching his blanket. "No, but you will be if you stay in this bed 23 hours a day. Get up. We're going for a walk." "A walk? I'm sick." "You're better. And if you refuse, I'll tell Fatima you hide chocolate under your pillow." Samir froze. "How do you know that?" "I'm a nurse. I know everything," Emily smirked. 15 minutes later, the powerful Sheik Samir was limping through the palace gardens in a simple tunic and sneakers, grumbling about his destroyed dignity. "Your dignity will survive. Move those legs." Emily pushed. By the time they finished a lap, Samir collapsed on a bench, exhausted. "I need to rest, immediately." "You're not exhausted, Your Highness. You're just out of shape." In the days that followed, the grumbling turned into a ritual. Morning walks, afternoon breathing, and night stretches. From a balcony, Fatima watched with a smile. For the first time in 3 years, the Sheik looked alive. This, no-filter, American girl was doing what 15 professionals couldn't. But shadows were moving in the medical wing. Dr. Kamal, the chief physician, stared at Samir's reports with a dark expression. "He's improving," his assistant cheered. "That's the problem," Kamal snapped. "This isn't medical protocol. It's improvisation." And improvisation has no place in royal treatment. He picked up the phone. The royal council needed to know that their sheik was sitting on the grass like a regular person. Unaware of the storm, Emily was trying to teach Samir to meditate. Sit on the ground, Samir. Like regular people. I am not regular people. Today, you are. Now sit. He huffed, sat cross-legged, and squeezed his eyes shut with such intensity he looked ready to explode. Emily burst out laughing. You look like you're trying to solve an impossible math problem. Samir opened one eye and, for the first time, he laughed too. Am I really your worst patient? Without a doubt, she grinned. But also the funniest. For a moment, the invisible walls of titles and expectations vanished. They were just two people laughing on the grass, until a cold voice echoed across the garden. Miss Carter, I need to speak with you. Now. Dr. Kamal was marching toward them, a folder under his arm and a look that said Emily's time in the palace was running out. The peaceful laughter in the garden was cut short by a voice as cold as ice. Dr. Kamal was there, and he wasn't alone. Miss Carter, your unauthorized methods are being questioned by the medical board, he sneered. But before Emily could defend her progress, the click of high heels on marble signaled a new enemy. Lila. Stunning in turquoise silk, with a smile that felt like melted sugar over a blade, she glided toward them. Beside her was Samir's brother, Rashid, a man whose eyes remained frozen even when he grinned. Samir, my dear cousin. Lila exclaimed, kissing his cheeks. Rashid told me you were better. I had to see for myself. Rashid turned his gaze to Emily, his tone dripping with condescension. And you must be the famous American nurse. You've caused some interesting changes. Positive changes, Samir corrected, his jaw tight. But Rashid wasn't there for health reports. He was there for the throne. We all agree the sheik needs something more traditional. Something aligned with our customs. Then, the killing blow. Lila touched Samir's arm. The council is pressuring you to move on, Samir. And I thought, why not someone who already knows you? Someone who understands your position. Emily felt her heart sink. She looked at Samir, waiting for him to roar, to fight, to tell them to leave. But he stood there in a suffocating silence, trapped between his heart and his duty. I'll let you have your family discussion, Emily whispered, retreating to the palace with a professional mask that was cracking by the second. Inside the suite, she slammed her clipboard down. Idiot! You're such an idiot, Emily Carter. An idiot for what? She spun around. Samir was at the door, looking like a man who had just survived an ambush. Shouldn't you be with your future fiancé? Emily snapped. She's not my fiancé. Rashid plans things without asking me. And you let him. Emily shouted. You stand there quiet while they parade women in front of you like a chess piece. You're the sheik. You're in charge. You think it's that easy? Samir snapped back, his voice raw. I have an entire kingdom expecting me to. To what? To marry someone you don't love just to please a council. And what do you suggest? That I send everyone away and do as I please? Yes. Exactly that. The air in the suite was electric, dangerous, and heavy with everything they weren't saying. What if what I want is impossible? Samir whispered, his eyes searching hers. Emily swallowed hard. She knew what he meant. He was royalty. She was a nurse from Kansas drowning in debt. Fairy tales didn't happen in the real world. I'll prepare your medication, she said, her voice trembling as she turned away. You must be tired. As she walked out, Emily wondered if she should have ever taken this job. She had healed his body, but she might have just broken her own heart. I'm sorry, Samir whispered to the closed door, but Emily didn't hear. She was in her room, tossing and turning, until midnight. It's just professionalism, she lied to herself as she walked back to his suite. She found him on the balcony, staring at the lights of Riade. Can't sleep? She asked. Apparently, neither can you. Emily tried to keep her distance, wrapping the blood pressure cuff around his arm, but her hands were shaking. Nervous? Samir asked, his eyes locked on hers. No. Just tired. Liar, he whispered. The air grew heavy. What do you want me to do, Samir? Emily asked, her heart racing. I'm trying to be professional, but you look at me like I matter. You do matter, he said, standing up. Don't. It makes everything harder. When this goes wrong, and it will, I'll be fired and deported, and you'll be forced to marry some princess. Samir held her wrists, gentle but firm. What if I don't want to marry a princess? What if I want you? Don't make me believe in the impossible, Emily cried. I'm a nurse from Kansas in debt. You're royalty. We live on different planets. Then maybe it's time I change planets. He touched her face, his thumb brushing her cheek. You reminded me what it's like to be alive. I don't want to go back to the dark. Emily closed her eyes as a tear fell. He was so close she could smell the spices on his skin. Their lips were inches apart. When the door burst open, Rashid stood there, with Fatima frozen behind him. Emily jumped back so fast she knocked over the medical monitor. Samir caught her, but it only made the scene look more damning. What exactly is going on here? Rashid barked. It's not what you think. Emily stammered. Oh, really? Because it looks exactly like what I think. Midnight. Alone. In the dark. It's none of your business, Samir warned, his voice dangerous. You're the sheik. Everything you do is the kingdom's business. Rashid turned his cold eyes to Emily. And you, keep your mouth shut. You've crossed every professional line. The room felt like an oven. Rashid's parting words were a death sentence for Emily's career. Tomorrow morning, we'll have a long conversation about your future here. Emily fled to her room, shattered. At 6 a.m., the nightmare became real. 2 guards knocked on her door. Miss Carter, the Royal Council requests your presence. Now. She was led through endless hallways to the council chamber. 7 stern men sat like judges at a massive U-shaped table. And in the center, smiling like a predator, was Rashid. Miss Carter, he gestured to a single, lonely chair. Take a seat. Emily sat in the center of the cold council chamber, hiding her shaking hands. Rashid didn't waste time. You've committed multiple violations, Miss Carter. Inappropriate intimacy. Unauthorized methods. Seducing the sheik. Seducing him? Emily's blood boiled. He was having panic attacks. I was doing my job. Your job doesn't include spending nights in his suite, Rashid sneered. I stayed because he was scared. Because no one else cared enough to stay. The verdict was instant. Termination. 2 hours to pack. A flight to the US this afternoon. You can't do this. He's walking. He's living again. Emily shouted. Thanks to unscientific methods, Dr. Kamal added, appearing like a vulture. But then, the heavy doors burst open. Samir walked in. He was barefoot, in his pajamas, breathing hard. What's going on here? He demanded. A human resources matter, Your Highness, Rashid stammered. You're firing her, Samir growled. The only person who treated me like a human being in 3 years. The council stood their ground, citing a 4-3 vote. She leaves today. Then I'm firing the council. Samir roared, slamming his hand on the table. Emily stays. And if anyone tries to remove her, they'll answer to me. The room went silent. Rashid looked at his brother with contempt. You're choosing a foreign woman over your kingdom? I'm choosing someone who sees me, not a chess piece. But Emily knew. She saw the guards, the power, and the trap. She took Samir's hand one last time. Let me go, Samir. If you fight them for me, you'll lose everything. And I care too much to let that happen. No, please. Samir whispered, the pain in his eyes unbearable. As the guards escorted her out, Emily didn't look back. In the hallway, Fatima, the coordinator who had reported her, stopped her with a look of guilt. I saw how he changed, Fatima whispered, slipping a folded piece of paper into Emily's hand. Open it on the plane. I hope you find a way back. Now, at Riyadh International Airport, Emily sits at gate 12. The announcement for Flight 847 to New York echoes through the terminal. Her suitcase feels like a ton of lead. She has her passport in one hand and a hollow hole in her heart. Flight 847 to New York, now boarding. Emily was just one step away from boarding the plane when chaos erupted. The crowd at the Riyadh airport parted like the Red Sea. And in the center of it all, walking with difficulty, barefoot and leaning on a cane, was Samir. Thousands of phones were recording. The world was watching. Emily dropped her suitcase and ran. They met in the middle of the terminal. Have you lost your mind? She screamed. You can barely walk. Then hold me, he smiled, letting go of his cane. I won't fall because you're here. Emily Carter, you are not getting on that plane. I've been fired. Deported. I am the Sheik. I'm overruling that. And more importantly, he paused, his eyes glistening. Because I love you. The airport went silent. Samir knelt on the cold floor in front of hundreds of strangers. You healed me when I thought there was no cure. You made me laugh when I had forgotten how. Will you marry me? Emily fell to her knees in front of him, laughing and crying at the same time. I'm just a nurse from Kansas, Samir. I don't have titles, only debt and sarcasm. That's all I've ever wanted, he whispered. Then yes. I'll marry you, you crazy Sheik. As the video hit 2 million views, the official car crossed the gates of Al-Hadi Palace. But inside, the mood was far from celebratory. Rashid was waiting for them, and he didn't look angry. He looked terrified. In the council chamber, the truth finally exploded. Rashid stood up, but his voice held no arrogance, only despair. You don't understand the risk, Samir. The risk of losing you again. Emily understood before anyone else. You're afraid I'll hurt him, she said softly. The same way his fiancée's death hurt him. Rashid burst into tears. I watched my brother fall apart. He didn't eat, he didn't sleep, he just disappeared. I swore I would never let that happen again. If you don't love, you can't lose. If you don't give yourself to someone, you can't be broken. So you kept me a prisoner? You kept me sick to protect me. Samir shouted. You stopped me from suffering, but you stopped me from living. I was suffering every single day in the darkness you created. The silence in the council chamber was no longer one of hatred, but of understanding. Rashid, the villain, was disarmed. His tears revealed the truth. He didn't want power. He simply couldn't bear the thought of seeing his brother broken again. I smothered you because I love you, Rashid confessed, his voice thick with emotion. Samir walked up to him and placed a hand on his shoulder. I know. But living means taking risks, Rashid. I'd rather have one day of a full life than 1,000 years surviving in the shadows. And if I fall, Emily will help me back up. For the first time, Rashid looked at the American nurse without contempt. How do I know you won't abandon him when things get hard? Emily took a firm step forward. You don't. You'll have to trust. But I saw Samir at his worst. I held his hand at 3 a.m. while he couldn't breathe. I didn't walk away that night, and I'm never walking away. I love the man, not the title. The council, touched by the courage of both, proposed a deal, a 3-month adjustment period. Emily would live in the palace, learn the traditions, and at the end, a unanimous vote would decide their future. I accept, Emily said, squeezing Samir's hand. Because I understand your fear, Rashid. And I'm going to prove to you that my love won't destroy him. The vote was 7-0. Unanimous. Even Dr. Kamal apologized, acknowledging that the annoying nurse had done what traditional medicine failed to do for 3 years. Fatima, with a knowing smile, welcomed her. "Get ready, dear. The protocols are absurd. You'll have to choose 47 types of flowers for the banquet." When they were finally alone, Emily opened the crumpled letter Fatima had given her at the airport. Tears fell instantly as Samir read it aloud. "Dear Emily, love doesn't destroy. Love heals. Show Rashid that you are strong enough for this life. And remember, 47 types of flowers. I'm not joking. With love, Fatima. P.S. I always knew you were special, ever since the day you told the Sheik to breathe like a normal person." They embraced in the center of the suite where it all began. The Sheik who couldn't walk was now holding up the woman who saved him. The mystery was over, the pain was fading, and the future now had the scent of 47 different flowers.